Hey, so if there's anything that's going to make a difference, it's the understanding that white people are Bantu people. All right. Bantu is a word that means people. Bantu is Vanu. So, Vanu is the Ivu, the ground. Everyone is taken out of the ground. So, by that understanding, white people are Bantu people. A friend of mine remarked something interesting to me. He said that when you go to an American person and then you tell him that this is called a lorry, it's not called a truck, or this is called a flat, it's not called an apartment, or this is not a parking lot, this is a garage, they actually can't compute. They actually say no, 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 no. It is not a lorry, it's a truck. It is not this, it is that, because they have their own frame of reference. But to understand the principle that everyone is Bantu is not the same as saying that everyone is white, because everyone comes from the Bantu. So everyone, not everyone comes from the Bantu, everyone comes from the Ivu. Everyone comes from the ground, from the sand. This is the sand. The sand, everyone comes from the sand. So everyone is from the sand. From this sand, this is where we get the sand people, the Khoisan people. So when you look at Queen Ati and King Peheru, they are Khoisan. So they are the Khoi and the San. So the San is spelt with an S or an X. So the S in the San means the yin yang, which is the male and the female, which is actually the matrix, which is how everyone came about through the sand. And you can also spell it with an X, X-A-N, which is the X chromosome, which makes a female, the feminine. So if you actually look at some sources, which I've seen, they actually say that the first people were androgynous, they were feminine. This is God, actually, because God created he, him. Then he created he, them. So the first thing was he, him. So in there, that was God in God, so there was two in one, because God created male and female in his image and likeness. So his image and likeness has two within one. So this is what actually is the first. This is, I think when they talk about that, this is what they're referring to, that the first people, species, were actually androgynous. This is the Immaculate Conception, because the feminine did not need the masculine in order to create the son. So from this we get the Khoisan, and then the san means X. The Khoi is Khoi Khoi. Khoi Khoi means men of men. These are the men of men. These are the mighty men, like the Khoisan. So these were the people who were the first rulers. This all of those people who were like building great things, right? These were actually the Khoisan. So these were the Khoi Khoi and the Khoisan. So from this we have X and Y, and from this we have the female and the male. This is actually Adam and Eve. So this is how we have the understanding of Queen Ati and King Peheru of the land of Punt. She is Khoisan, and this is the understanding that they've always had of the divine feminine, something called the divine feminine. So in the Renaissance, the word is renaissance. So this is the reawakening, reimagining, reliving. In the Renaissance, the captivating cornerstone was that it was the age of humanism. This is the understanding of the Medici money, which creates this world that we currently live in, because from that time in Florence, which is in Italy, these small states, which were run by popes, these popes were the fathers of these states. These are the godfathers. So they used to run these states. They used to protect the people. So after this, this is the birth of the Renaissance. So this reawakening was marked by the harbinger, by the portrait of Botticelli, which depicted the birth of Venus. Okay, so this is one of those iconic masterpieces from that era. So to understand that is to understand that it is the reawakening and the reimagining of the original. So when you say like go and replenish or go and redo, replay, repeat, this is a repeat of the real divine feminine, which was actually a figure, a person who looked pretty much like Queen Ati of the land of Punt. So this is just in the walls. So this is carved. This was there for a reason. This is how she was depicted. So so in this understanding, this is to know that everyone comes from the male and the female, the Adam and the Eve. This is the X and the Y. And from this we have the birth of everyone else. And these create people. So everyone who came after the Khoisan are in the understanding Bantu, right? All who are the Khoi and the San are Bantu, right? Because they are people. They are sand. They are Ivu. They are Isu. There's everyone involved. So this is why it's important to have the understanding of Hunu, of Ubuntu, of being a person through other people. Because without the male and without the female, there is none. So everyone who's created through the male and the female is a person, is per son, per S-A-N, which is sand. Is per the sand, which is the S-U-N, the S-U-N. This is the understanding of Jesus, who is the Son of the light of God, who came to save the whole world. This is to know the land of milk and honey. That white or black, it's milk and honey. And this is the promised land. And through this is where everyone in that land, milk or honey, is Bantu. Because the whole spirit of delusion that people are lying about certain things, about a certain race, right? So this is put in place. It's actually said that God sent it. So he put this lie in the delusion of how people understand his word. That can you actually decode that when you go to church, the Bible you're reading, his word is saying one thing, but someone else is whispering another thing. So this is in his understanding of his word, that if you see that you are praying in a church where this figure is depicted in a certain race to exert a certain influence over your mind, then you are being deluded. This is this is actually the God spell, God's spell. Okay, so understand this, that it is all about understanding the truth in God, right? This truth is understood through through living, right? Through exercising his will, right? Through understanding your purpose, through understanding truth and reality in the same time space. So understanding that if you are reading one thing and something else is saying something else, then what is there is there for you to uncover your ignorance. So all of these things happened because someone wanted to put enmity between God and man. So this is the sun and the sand. So someone wanted to put enmity between heaven and earth. So this is what happened when there was the lie in the garden. This is what happened when there was the lie in the garden. The garden is Havilah, is Cush, is Assyria, and Euphrates. So the garden is Africa and the Middle East. Havilah is the place where the first rivers flowed and they broke into four. And then from there, they watered a place called Havilah by the river Pishon. And then River Gihon went into the land of Cush. This is North Africa. And then the other river was in Assyria. And Euphrates didn't actually have a land. Euphrates was the borderline of this place. So when you read the word of God, right, his word, this is what it's all about. That everything is the universe. Everything is understanding his words. That there are people who come and want to distort the understanding of his word and therefore put you in a different understanding from the truth and the reality. So this is to know the true good news of God, right? So this is the God news. To know that you are God. This is the God news. Like, does not your scripture say that? So understanding that this is a spell because this is a time. When you look at the people who used to live for a long time before the flood, they always used to live for 900 years. That's a spell. And then after that, people now live for 90 years, right? And that is the 9. And 9 is the number of the completion, the fruit, and the womb. So this womb takes us to a tomb. And this is life and death. This is the understanding of everything in the garden. This is the X and the Y. This is the male and the female. Right? This is the male and the female. This is the sand. This is where the blood was spilled. The sand. So this is understanding the Son who spilled his blood on the earth. And through this, we have, this is the womb of life. And it used to be 900 years, close to 1,000. Now it's 90 years, close to 100. And this reduced everything by a tenth. So everything that happened after that era was reduced. Like the ability of the person still grew at the same rate, but then they were not able to have the same amount of time to execute certain things. But through this, they have greater understanding. So this is why in Psalms, David would say, like, I know more than the ancients. I know more than my ancients, because you're supposed to learn from the ancestors. You're supposed to learn from the ascended, which is Jesus. He ascended. He's an ancestor. And this is the understanding of the ancients. This is why he said, you will do greater works than I'm doing. So all of this is giving way to us understanding that everything that is happening is for love. The commandment, right, is love. Love God. Know that God is one, right? Know that we are all the same. We're all the same. We're all in this womb. It's all the same. Like, no one is better than anyone else. We're all the same, right? No one can leave this world willy-nilly. Like, we are all under this algorithm. Like, we all have the same amount of hours each day, right? No one has more, no matter how powerful they are, right? So unless if they are on another planet, which is them being subject to that algorithm. So all of us are the same. So this is just zeros and ones. This is the binary code. This is the matrix. Zeros and ones, that's all. 0 is an invisible number that does not exist. So everyone is 1, 1, 1, 1. Adam, 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 Adam. So the 0 is from the sand, the S, which is the essence, which is reproduction. This is what it is. This is the womb. This is the divine feminine. This is the Renaissance. This is the naissance without the re, right? The naissance. So this is the natal. From this we have this woman who gives birth, and We also have a whore of Babylon. So we have these women. So understanding that these women, the things that are being reproduced are contrary to true love, because everything that reproduces something else is love. When people have sex, they make love and then they make us. So we are love. This is why we're all the same. Love is zero. Like, love is the zero in the one. Love is the sex, the cipher. This is the matrix. This is love. The zero is actually the O clock. So this is the time, actually. So this is the womb. This is the matrix. So in this understanding, right? If God is giving us this message that we're supposed to love, and at the same time, in the same message, the things that caused the imbalance in the world right now is created by hate of someone else, just based on race. So this started because of the love of money, which created diversity and evil. Because Africa was so rich, is rich, and the people wanted to make money off the land. So they devised certain evils in order to get the gold in Havila, the gold that was good. And through this, Africa suffers. So when you look at Africa, it is the richest place in the world, and it is the cradle of mankind. It is actually the seed of life, where the tree of life is. So it has grown. Like, no one actually touched the tree of life. So this is the virgin. This is the virgin birth. So this is the child of God. So when you read the book of Isaiah, every African should read the book of Isaiah, because every Ethiopian is an African people, right? Every Ethiopian. Now, when we talk about Ethiopian, right, everyone is Bantu. Not everyone is Ethiopian, right? So when you talk about Ethiopian, it's just about your hair, the woolly hair that the Elohim has, the woolly hair that God has, Elohim, which is the one who creates heaven and earth, the elite. This is the Elohim. This is the elect. That's the hair he has. It's so electric, it's white. So this is the Ethiopian hair. This is the Moorish hair. This is the Bantu hair. This is the Vanu hair. This is the understanding of it. That the seed of life is the tree of life. So this is the fruit. The fruit are the people. Everyone is the fruit, right? So this is the fruit of life from the tree of life. So the tree of life, watch Avatar and look at what's happening. They want to uproot the tree of life for unobtainium wealth. They actually did it, or so they thought. So the tree of life is the motherland, which is where the virgin birth comes, the mother birth comes, the mother earth comes. So everyone comes out of Africa. So understanding this is understanding everyone is that fruit of life. So the tree of life has its roots in this place. So this is where the cherubim is guarding the garden. So how are we being guarded if there are wars everywhere? This the Most High knows. But then what is given birth, right? What is given birth is what is called the daughters of Zion. The daughters of Zion. So it's crazy, right? That now people want to be females. People want to be females. And what's being given birth to is called the daughter of Zion. This is the revelation. So this is what is actually in the revelation. This is the birth. And through this, these are the struggles that the woman has gone through. These are the birth pains. When the prophets, when the oracles are speaking of these birth pains, what they're speaking about, this is an oracle, an oration. This oration, oratory, comes from African oral tradition. They used to say that it's backward, right? But these people used to have the recitate. They could recite, like just like the Quran. You're supposed to recite the Quran. It's called the recitation. And these are the oracles. So these people actually know this in their subconscious is subconscious is subconscious is subconscious. So they used to recite the whole thing. Like right now people can recite the Quran, and understanding that these people were actually Bantu, like Swahili Arabs, right? These people were the ones who were building cities of Kilwa, Bantu people, Swahili people. These Swahilis, this is where we get the dominant Bantu languages, building castles of coral. And they used to recite this. This is oral tradition. These are just oracles. This is oratory. And this is what they used to call primitive, because they don't understand the depth in which these people were thinking. They didn't understand the simplicity in which they lived because of humility. These people were so humble that this is where the understanding of the land of Punt is. This kingdom, the meek will inherit the earth. They were so meek, they inherit the earth, the sand. So they came to this place with a lie, and then they came and then they defiled it because of the love of money. But God sent this in order to make love live. Make love live, which is to be able to understand that all of us are Bantu, all of us are Vano, all of us are sand. No one is still the original man anymore, right? Everyone's cleared out in the flood anyhow, right? So everyone is Bantu. Everyone, every single one. So this is the understanding of like everyone is just sand. All of us are the same. The meek will inherit the earth. The humble, human limitation. So this is humility. But knowing human limitation is crucial to understand. So understanding all of these truths that are in the word and all of the lies that are in the world is to see with clarity, is to see the zeros and the ones. That's how Neo was able to see the actual code in the matrix. He was able to see the tricks, the mating tricks. And it's all about the seed. The seed is in the garden. The garden, like everyone is in agreement that the garden, the cradle of mankind, everybody comes from Africa, agreed or not. If you do not come from Africa, it means that you are a fallen angel, which is the Nephilim, which is against the Elohim. Nephilim and Elohim, these two seeds. So we are the seeds of the gods, right? And they are the seeds of the angels. So they came speaking angelish. Right? So this is the understanding of the true seat of power, which is the mind of God, which is the heart, which is the land of Punt, which is the understanding of truth in oneness. This is being a person through other people. This is appreciating our fathers. These are the ancestors. These are the aunts and the sisters, the X, the sand, the mother earth. So this is appreciating the Mother Earth and appreciating the people who come from the Mother Earth. So appreciate nature, appreciate love, everything that's put in place, like everything, the natural algorithms, the natural wealth, the splendor of life. Take dominion. When Jesus said, my dominion is not of this world, even though he was in this world, the dominion is the wisdomanian, wisdom main. This is the wisdom main. This is where his dominion is. So to be sovereign is to have your armies in your mind. This is worship, the warships. So take wisdom and take dominion.